some space on the bench because the last 7 days of professional racing just threw out our entire notebook right out the window. We're coming off of an absolutely historic and punishing stretch of race dates. We're talking about Nashville concrete chewing up brake rotors and JGR teammates going 3 wide at nearly 200 miles an hour for $1 million fuel. Lance and Cole DeWeese scripting a father-son victory circle for the ages in the Pennsylvania dirt, and Kyle Larson putting on a masterclass in Davenport before making a master tribute gesture. From Rico Abreu throwing wild sliders to Denny Hamlin turning the first lap penalty into a Nashville gold medal, we're actually tearing apart the telemetry, the pit road gambles, and the pure mechanical attrition that shaped this entire week. Visor down, tear offs ready, because this isn't just racing. This
This is Switchin Grooves. Can you hear me, Russ? I can't hear you at all. So, anyway, how is everybody tonight? I'm finally back from trying to get my wits about me with. There we go. He's back. I hear him.
I told you I was on.
I just couldn't. I couldn't hear you for some reason. But we're back this week with another episode of Switchin Grooves. Again, I'm Nathan. We're still kind of reeling from the whole Kyle Busch passing, so I'm not fully back to 100% yet. But let's talk about some of the craziness from Nashville. This week we obviously, with Denny Hamlin jumping the start, definitely made it a very interesting start to the race. But the middle section really didn't, it didn't really bring a lot of attention to me. And we did have to wait till Monday morning for the excitement. But, I'm not a fan of Nashville. I don't know what it was. It kind of drug it out for me. We had a lot of brake rotor failures. We had Connor Zillage.
Were the brake rotor failures in all 3 series?
I don't think it was all 3 series. I'm pretty sure it was just the Cup Series because I really didn't. The Truck Series race really didn't seem like it had a lot of brake rotor issues. And the O'Reilly race really, really wasn't. I don't know. I feel like that race was kind of boring for me. Like I don't really remember very much from that race. Even the Nashville race, really the only excitement was Monday morning for like the last final restart. Like I was kind of disappointed with the. I understand that they raised the horsepower, and it made the cars a little bit more on edge. But I don't know. Something about that race just didn't really seem good to me.
Well,
I saw a lot of people giving it good ratings, but it was only because of the end, I feel.
Well, qualifying was rained out, so they started everyone by points, again. So
same thing as last week.
Nothing interesting there.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. Cletus made the field, but same song, next different verse. You know,
I mean,
he still finished 35th, 6 laps down. I'm feeling for Cletus, but he at least did not tear up the car as bad this time. From what I understand, it just bent the splitter a little bit. But, it kind of snowballed after he spun down pit road, got a penalty. Then he missed his pit box and had to back up. It just bad. I feel like RCR has kind of set him up for failure with all these tracks because they're not exactly the easiest tracks. I mean, granted, none of them should be easy, but they seem to have picked all the hardest tracks for him to race on, I feel like. So
well,
I don't know
Riggs
about that.
led what every single lap of the first two stages, and the stage two caution shuffled him back to what 16th or something like that.
He was mid pack and he managed to work his way through the field. But I mean, I think he passed Raja Kruth on the last lap. But there was not a whole lot of action during the race. Like Layne Riggs started up front, fell back. They had I would have thought a pretty decent battle at the end. It was semi interesting, but then again, you kind of got to sit through all the boring parts of it. Like
That's
I feel like
NASCAR.
it's kind of slacking with the tracks lately. Like I'm waiting for us to get to like a little bit more exciting racing. I mean, I forget. I think the O'Reilly series is off this week, but I know the truck should be at Michigan. I feel like if we don't have any more fuel mileage racing, it really doesn't put you on the edge of your seat. Like Michigan used to be a fuel mileage race for every division. Now it's just kind of, can your tires hold on long enough to, not blow out? Like these low profile tires, they create excitement for when you're going to blow out your tire. That's basically it. It's like a jump scare. I- I'm I am kind of frustrated with NASCAR, and I was gonna bring this up later, but I should probably cover it now. Is there was comments made this week from Denny Hamlin about NASCAR needs to shorten the stages or shorten the races, and to be fair, he's not really wrong. They do need to shorten these races. You want to know how they shorten them? Get rid of the stages. We've been talking about this for how many months? If you don't like, if we're getting tired of being long 4 hour races, maybe cut out, the 15, the what, 2 15-minute segments right in the middle. Make people actually race instead of just preparing for a caution. If we have an unplanned caution, it's less time than sitting there for a stage.
They're they're gonna if they're still gonna run the same amount of laps, but those laps are
Take
gonna be
less
ran.
time.
Yeah, they're gonna be ran under green, so they're gonna take seconds compared to minutes.
I mean, I saw this stat from a few years ago, and granted I understand the Coke 600 was 2 weeks ago, but the typical Coke 600 takes about 6 hours, which I mean doesn't seem that bad. But when a 6 hour race, starts at we'll say 6 o'clock and does not end until the next day, you're starting to really just get into territory you don't need to be. 600 miles is a testament. I'll say that. But do we really need to drag out the 6 hours more than the 6 hours it is alone? I mean, the Indy 500 starts at noon, usually done by 4, 5 o'clock, and enough time for the drivers from Indy to fly to Charlotte. Granted, we didn't have that problem this year, but, with these races taking on forever, it does put a new level of endurance for how long you can actually stay awake. Like, I think it's more of an endurance to the fans than it is for the drivers anymore because it just takes too long. It's really frustrating in my opinion. I mean, Justin Allgaier won the O'Reilly race. I really cannot tell you very many highlights from that race. There wasn't really much to write home about. There was a few battles on the front stretch with the Hendrick cars, but even the Cup race, and I do salute the last restart. SVG got his first top 5 on an oval. We need to start being worried. I'll just say that, because if he can rattle that off at Nashville, he's starting to figure these tracks out. He's going to rattle off an oval win, and we all need to start watching. It's not looking good. But other than 5 wide on the final restart going into 1, and then coming to the white flag 3 wide for the leaders, there was not much to really, keep me keep me intrigued with this race. We have the supposed intentional wrecking of Brad Keselowski and Austin Dillon. I still question if that was intentional wrecking or a racing deal. Brad Keselowski seems to think that Austin Dillon purposely wrecked him. I feel like they were both racing deals. To set the scene for you, Brad Keselowski moved down the track. Austin Dillon ran to the back of him and got turned by Chris Buescher, who was behind Austin Dillon. Well, I guess Austin Dillon took that personally, which I don't feel like should shock anybody. He takes a lot personally. And proceeds to just wreck Brad Keselowski a few restarts later. Just hooked him and just kind of swiped across his bumper. I mean, anybody who races NASCAR now should know that if you're going to swipe across somebody's bumper, it's going to hook them enough to turn them. We're not at Talladega. That's basically like right rearing somebody, just picking their rear wheels up off the ground. I mean, you got to be stupid to not think that's, going to happen. I'm very frustrated with NASCAR racing lately. Like, we increased all this horsepower, and now we're having problems with the brake rotors exploding because they're getting too hot. Rather than making the cars, harder to race, we're just making part failures happen.
They're just making them more junk.
Yes, we had Trackhouse explode, 2 out of their 3 cars had brake rotor explosions. I mean, you can see Ross Chastain's frustration as he went flying down pit road, just skirting the tires the entire way there. I don't know if I really blame him. But it's like, if we're going to have all these part failures, we need to do something to avoid these part failures. Because it's not just one team. It's multiple teams had issues. It's very frustrating when we, are supposed to have this new rules package is supposed to help the racing, and instead it makes it worse. I mean, the whole saying of cautions breed cautions is starting to become a little too more literal when we can't go, more than 4 laps and we blow another brake rotor. I mean, it's more of a game of tape than, momentum. You could have a quarter inch size space on your front grille, and that could be all the difference between, exploding a brake rotor because it got too hot, or getting too much air to them and it disintegrating like you're dropping a glass plate on the ground. It's just, I really wish NASCAR could get this figured out. I mean, I commend them for getting some of this stuff fixed and not making it as bad. But, I mean, I'm kind of waiting for the Gen 8 car, but at the same time, I saw a video this week, and I know it's a spoof. But how do we know the Gen 8 car is not just going to be another IMSA prototype? Like, this is just getting ridiculous. We need to go back to, what we had before. The Gen 6 car really was not as bad as they made it out to be. We could have the same style platform and sponsor spacing. Just, this whole, low profile tire is just stupid. I mean, it's more IndyCar and sports cars than it is NASCAR. They can literally stick an air canister in the window and pick it up like it's an IMSA Porsche. It's getting dumb to me. So, I can hear you. There's a few more NASCAR things. I mean, you got They announced that Kevin Magnussen is going to be racing the San Diego Street Course for Project 91, which I think is kind of cool. We've had a few, older F1 drivers, but we haven't had any current F1 drivers, so it's kind of cool. Excuse me, sorry. But I mean, we've got some. Hi, Anthony. We've had, a few F1 drivers in the past, but, it's not really. I don't know. I'm excited for this San Diego race, but at the same time, that's about the only thing I'm getting exciting for NASCAR. I mean, we got Michigan this weekend. I would love to think we'd have an exciting race for Carson Hocevar, so he could show that this isn't just a one-off deal with Talladega. Because I mean, that is his home crowd. That'd be awesome to see that. But I mean, we're gonna rattle off Michigan, Pocono, San Diego. Pocono, I don't know how I feel because we're gonna have the same package as every other track. It's not a mile and a half, or not a mile. It's not a short track or road course. So you can't really do anything with those. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of odd for me, this time of year. Like we're about to start the in-season tournament. I still don't think it needs to exist, but you never know. Maybe we'll get through Atlanta and there'll be people's brackets who are still in existence. Maybe we won't wad up the entire field at the first round at the races. I mean, they did put a road course as the first round, so we can't possibly lose our brackets the first round of the playoffs this year. I do think it is dumb though. It's very dumb.
So
So
I'll rattle off my synopsis of the NASCAR weekend, and I'll start with the trucks. Like where I was saying is like Layne Riggs, he led what all every lap of both the first two stages, and he got shuffled back. The truck got stuck in dirty air. He was back, what, 16th, about the fifth row back. And the handling deficit was so severe that Riggs actually believed his crew had accidentally swapped the left and the right side or right rear tires. So that opened up the door for Raja Caruth, and Caruth assumed the lead on lap 105 and commanded the point for 44 laps. Under a late caution, Riggs pitted for chassis adjustment and four tires. He restarted 10th with only 15 laps to go. Riggs, like he sliced through the traffic, made it up to third. Eventually passed his teammate Chandler Smith for second with 3 laps to go. And on the final lap, he just drove deep into turn three um, to get to the outside of Caruth. And the duo actually traded paint through the corner, but Riggs found superior concrete grip on his fresher tires, and that naturally allowed him to clear Caruth coming off the last turn, and he won by just under a half a second. So Smith finished third, Chastain finished fourth, and Ankrum fifth. Caden Honeycutt finished several laps down. Riggs actually officially assumed the Truck Series championship lead by 37 points over Honeycutt. So that's what I got for the trucks. And pretty easy. It wasn't much of an exciting day there, but O'Reilly Series. Now it delivered a pretty decent battle between the seasoned veteran and emerging star on Saturday. Um, was They were at Nashville too, obviously. Allgaier and Cruz actually traded paint for a little bit. The race actually began. Jesse Love and Austin Hill set in the front row, with Love actually jumping out front to dominate pretty early. He claimed the stage one victory. Jesse Love went on to lead what 87 laps, but his bid for victory ended during the final stage when a loose wheel forced him to pit under green, which kind of screwed him over. That pushed him back to a 16th place finish. So uh, that cleared the way for Brent Cruz, who charged from 33rd to grab the lead. and he commanded the point for 45 laps, but faced a hard charge from Justin Allgaier. Uh, Over the final 30 laps, Allgaier and Cruz actually engaged in a pretty close quarter side by side battle. Allgaier utilized a superior side drafting technique down the straightaway, he, which allowed him to pass Cruz for good with 20 laps remaining. Cruz threw repeated counterattacks, but Allgaier actually held his ground, and it actually gave him a 1.4 second victory over the rookie. So it wasn't too bad of a race. It wasn't super boring, but it wasn't super exciting. Sawalich finished third, Mayer finished fourth, Brandon Jones fifth, and the win was actually Allgaier's 32nd career series victory and his fourth of the season so far. So he celebrated by climbing out of the car's roof hatch and bowing to the crowd, obviously a tribute to Kyle Busch. And he leaves Nashville with a massive 179-point lead over Jesse Love in the standings. So it was a pretty decent race though. NASCAR
I
Cup Series. Oh, go ahead, bud.
I was gonna say, I did miss one also. They did uphold the Ryan Priest penalty, which I mean, I don't feel like I do see why see NASCAR's point. I also see why Ryan Priest was trying to argue it, but that is that. And then they had the whole. I didn't get to talk about this last week when you guys did the NASCAR recap, but I want to talk about SVG hiding a baconator in the padding of his car at the Coke 600. That
That
was
was
probably the
hilarious.
funniest thing I've ever heard of. The audio from that radio transmission was probably the greatest thing I'd ever heard during a 600-mile race. I mean, you'd expect that from like I don't know, Bubba Wallace and Freddie Kraft at Phoenix. That I mean, nothing like throwing SVG into the deep end with good old American burgers. Like I understand it's a Wendy's sponsorship, but that was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. That
I
might have
just
been my
wonder.
favorite moment for that.
Oh, I just wonder if it was really true. Did he actually have a baconator in the car?
Oh no, there's video. He was pulling it out of the door. It
Was it
was pretty
really?
funny.
I
Yeah,
didn't
that
see it.
video I sent. If you watch, he pulls down pit road and he's talking about it being in the door.
Oh, for
Like
crying out loud!
I mean, if you really think about it, the car is hot enough. It would probably keep the burger decently warm while they're. I mean, they had to have found a Wendy's nearby, stuffed it in the car right before the race. I'm actually more impressed at the
Funny.
fact that it stayed wrapped because I work for Wendy's, and I'm more impressed with the fact that it stayed wrapped in the roll bar padding. That's pretty impressive. We have these paper crap bags and they don't hold at all. So I was quite impressed that they got it wrapped in there and it stayed for what? The first half the race before we get the first rain delay? I mean, that was kind of
That's a,
impressive if you ask
I was gonna
me.
say that's pretty impressive, but
I got off track with that. I was scrolling through the notes that I had from this past week's messages, and that was the one that caught me by surprise. The whole, Baconator in the door, and then he got Kevin Magnussen driving F1. I am excited for Friday, though. Friday, even though we got the truck race coming, not really worried about that or Michigan. I'm excited to watch this mini movie that NASCAR did for San Diego. I think it's going to be hilarious because I saw the outtakes for all the promos, and those were pretty funny. And some of the video clips I've seen from that video they're releasing on Prime look hilarious to me. So I'm super excited to kind of watch that because it was kind of funny. Um, and I forget if they showed this during the national race, but if anybody was paying attention to the consumer cellular commercial with Ryan Priest, I did not catch this the first time around until somebody posted a picture of it, but they have Greg Biffle sticker on the convertible on the windshield, which I thought was kind of cool that it's shown in the picture. And I didn't catch that the first time until somebody posted a photo. So go back and watch the
I,
commercial. It's at the drive-through window.
yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I I do need to speak to our fans though. If you guys really love our episodes and you really want to make our day, I saw a fellow podcaster got a card in the what are these? I forget what the card pack's name is, but I want to someday I want to be able to have Switching Grooves in these card packs, and if I need to sign, a hero card and stick it in there myself, I want to do it. That'd be so cool to have, collector cards out there for people. I mean, I guarantee Out of the Groove with Eric probably has one. I would think Matt for Breakar would have one. I want to get Switching Grooves ones. I think that would be epic to see
You
ourselves in collectors' books.
also got to remember though, Eric is at a lot of NASCAR races, so I
I've been to
mean,
every track on the East Coast except for one so far. We're getting there.
yeah, but I'm saying he actually goes to the track regularly and
That's fair.
covers the
That's
races.
fair.
So I mean,
I gotta
we
work on
don't do
that.
that. We don't
I
have
know.
opportunity to. He's actually got a media pass and everything for what he does. Now we don't have that. So
I feel like it'd be fun to do
um,
that. But that was just my 2 cents in that moment. As I someday I want to be able to do that. So if you guys have sources, send them our way.
so I'll get my Cup Series stuff out of the way before we forget about it.
Yeah,
But
that'd be bad.
the Cracker Barrel 400 in Nashville. So it produced race record 31 lead changes among 15 different drivers, which was also a race record. Hamlin started the race under dramatic circumstances and jumped the initial start, forcing NASCAR to actually hand him a pass through penalty on lap 4 that dropped him to 38th, essentially last.
The first of his
And
career too,
yeah, well,
which is insane.
he methodically sliced his way forward over the next 290 laps, taking advantage of 11 caution flags, and that shook up pit strategy. In stage one, AJ Allmendinger took the segment victory. In stage two, Daniel Suarez stayed out on old Goodyear tires to secure the stage win, mimicking his team's successful Coke 600 strategy. The race culminated in a wild restart with 4 laps to go, and a frantic shootout ensued, setting up a JGR teammate war between Hamlin, Bell, and Briscoe. The three Toyotas actually ran 3 wide into turn one. Hamlin got a strong run along the bottom of the turn. He pulled even with Bell, and Bell drove pretty deep into turn one on the final lap, but Hamlin actually cleared him off of two and held him off by what? Oh my gosh, let me check.
I'm
Let me
looking to
look at
see. I'm looking to see. Held
zero
him
point
off.
0.115 seconds and
Yes.
claimed his 60-second career victory. Briscoe finished third, Stenhouse Jr. finished fourth, Van Gisbergen fifth, and from Nashville, Tyler Reddick actually maintained a 97-point lead over Hamlin, and that's that. I mean, but now the rotor
Four out of
thing.
the top 10 were all Toyotas, which is absolutely insane to me.
Well, the 300 lap race was heavily defined by severe mechanical attrition, specifically 4 catastrophic right front brake rotor failures that actually destroyed multiple front running cars. The epidemic of brake failures stemmed directly from NASCAR's 2026 low downforce, high horsepower technical package. So that's where this has started from. This specific configuration allows cars to carry significantly higher corner entry velocities, which in turn requires drivers to execute harder, more prolonged braking cycles to rotate the heavy next gen car through the corners, and especially on Nashville's concrete surface, which already demands heavy deceleration. I mean, the teams miscalculated the extreme thermal stress and airflow limits required to cool the rotors, and under those extreme temperatures, the carbon iron rotors experienced sudden explosive disintegration with a zero soft pedal warnings to the driver. Rookie Connor Zilic suffered the first catastrophic failure on lap 72, sending him hard into the turn one wall and sparking an undercar fire. His teammate Ross Chastain experienced an identical failure on lap 82, slamming the wall in turns 1 and 2. AJ Allmendinger, who won stage 1 and was running third, lost his brakes on lap 173, and he hit the turn 1 wall. Late in the race, Chris Buescher's right front rotor exploded as he entered turn 3, ending a strong top 20 run for him. So
He was the final caution before the eventual final restart.
I mean, pretty sad that it had to come to that, but hopefully NASCAR and the teams also learn from this and they do a better job next time. And they
I,
need to come up with a better cooling system for these brakes.
I do have to say there, I completely forgot about this when I was looking through the highlights. The Cale Yarborough car still is only good for one car, and it was not Bubba this week. I had to throw that out there. That car is only good with one driver, and it was not Bubba Wallace this week. Bubba
No,
Wallace spun and ended up cleaning out Bowman, so now we don't have to worry about Bubba being very good in somebody else's car or somebody else's paint scheme. That was a
so
throwback that didn't need to be made.
I want to address something that was said in the comments by our good friend, huge fan, Jason, who actually was on the show with us a couple of times so far, and he's kind of bad mouthing himself and saying that we're so much better than him and at doing what we do. But Jason, I'll tell you what, buddy, we weren't this good. Like we still make screw ups, man. We just do this for fun. We enjoy talking about racing and spreading news. I mean,
I'm just a little late.
it's just we've been doing this. What? How long you been with me now? 2 years, Nathan? Three?
More like three, I think. Maybe a little longer than three. I wouldn't say four though.
I've been doing this show since 2020, and I've been in the public eye when it comes to racing and race tracks as an official and other things like that, as a promoter for at least 10 years. So since 2015, I've been in the public eye when it comes to racing. So don't discredit yourself just because, it was a it was a little slow go for you. You'll get the hang of it, man. And I do plan to sit down and talk with Nathan sometime about maybe adding another segment to the show and maybe bringing you on. So, the more we can cover, the more fans we can help enjoy our show. And I don't follow Indy or F1. I I barely follow NASCAR. I kind of watch highlights and stuff of that. And
It
I
was too
follow,
late for me to be watching the end of the Cup race.
but I mean we're just so used to it, and the equipment that we have. I mean, I started with a cell phone on a tripod across the room, and
I can attest to it. I've seen it.
I had no notes. I never had any notes. I never had nothing. You could see me walking back into the frame because I had to go over and touch start on the phone and all that good stuff. So, and I've upgraded now. I have a know studio equipment now. I mean, it's nothing fancy like Dale Jr. and those kind of guys have, but it works for what I do. I mean, I've got a prompter in front of me so I can look at my screen and be looking at the camera at the same time. And
I have to use my phone still.
I do put my notes up on on my prompter so I can look at them while I'm looking at the camera. Yeah, I mean it's just even if I didn't have anything on the prompter screen, I would still have it so or any notes on the screen, I would still have it so I could actually watch the computer screen. I can move it up to my prompter if I want to and use it that way. So I mean, oh Nathan, you're still using your phone. I gave you a camera and a computer.
No. I have the camera, but I use it for my notes. Is what I'm saying. Is I That's why I always look off to the side to use it for my notes.
Well, yeah. Well, teleprompter is not cheap, man. Believe me, it
Half
costs
the
quite a
time
bit of
I don't
money.
even have notes. You can ask Russ. I am horrible about writing out notes and actually sticking to them.
Honestly, I never even, I didn't get the prompter so I could put my notes on it. I got the prompter so I could mirror the screen from my computer screen to the prompter so I could still look at the camera and run the show at the same time because I got a lot going on my screen while I'm running the show,
Oh yeah.
and that's why you always see me looking down because you know, Nathan has seen the screen. He knows how it works, and I'm constantly doing something, moving things, or so I'm trying to run the show and do the show at the same time. So it's tough, but you get used to it. And Nathan, you'll find your way, dude. And we'll happily be glad to be a part of that. We'd love to help you reach that level. You'll find your way, and that'll become you. You know, don't try to be like anybody else. Be yourself. That's it.
Before before I get too far off track and I forget that I wanted to ask, Russ, I want to know your picks for this week's race at Michigan. I'm not worried about trucks. Who do you think will run well at Michigan this week? Because that is a track that you have been to before. You know the style of racing. I've never been to a race there, but I've been to the track. What are your thoughts for this week, based on what you've seen from the highlights and you being to the track itself?
Well, it's a 2 mile track. I mean, Hamlin's pretty good on those big tracks.
Okay.
The Toyotas are really good on those tracks, and I look for the Gibbs guys to be up there. I can't really specifically say one or the other, and I also look for at least Reddick to be up that way.
What are your thoughts on Ford this week? I know that Ford has had a pretty good showing there pretty regularly, I felt. I mean, they've been
Uh,
slacking a lot this year, but what are your thoughts on Ford? Could this be a comeback weekend for them? A bounce back
I
weekend, perhaps?
I'm not so sure when it comes to Logano.
Yeah.
I say
I've had a hard
Logano.
time believing he's that bad that lately.
He hasn't really had that great of a year this year, which is surprising for being a three-time
Blaney,
champion.
Blaney, I've been shocked with.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Like I could see Logano running top 10, 15, but as far as the Fords, I think Blaney's going to be one to compete with too.
Okay. I was trying to look and see who won. I'm trying to see who won last year's race. Yeah, Denny Hamlin did end up winning last year's race. Last year's results were Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher, Ty Gibbs, Darrell Wallace, and Kyle Larson. So that is, I mean, that does hit it right on the head. They had what, three Fords in the top 10, and that's it. And then you got what, Toyota. Four Fords. Sorry, four Fords in the top 10, three Toyotas, and the rest were Chevys. So I mean, you're not wrong with having Denny Hamlin. I think that's a solid pick. Also, I hate saying it, but I do think it is a very valid pick with Denny Hamlin. Um, they're. I was kind of surprised by all that. Like I would have thought they would have been a little better. I guess what I want to see is I want to see if SVG will improve from last year to this year. Last year he finished 18th, which is I think pretty good for being on an oval for him. I guess I should go back and look see what he finished last year at a. I was looking to see what he finished last year because I missed it. Oh, he finished 25th last year, so he gained 20 spots. Could we see SVG winning this week at Michigan? He jumped 20 spots from last year to this year with Nashville. Could we see this being the year that SVG puts together his first oval win? No,
If
I
you
didn't
ask
think so.
me,
I was just
I'm not
curious.
I'm not trying to take anything away from the guy. He's vastly
Insanely
improved.
good.
Yeah, he's vastly improved his game this year, and he will get that oval win. I just don't see it this year, especially with
I'm
the new change in everything when it comes to the points and the chase and the playoffs going away. And I he's got to change the way he thinks about it now, because with the playoffs it was win and you're in, so you can go hard after you win and not have to worry about screwing yourself out of the playoffs. Whereas now you have to be more strategic and think about what you're going to do so you don't screw yourself or screw anybody else over and knock them out of the chase. So
I was trying to look and see as I was looking to see where he was in points. For some reason I thought he was locked in, or not locked in, but he was in the chase so far. Oh, there he is, 12th. So he is currently 12th in playoffs. And we have two road courses coming up. We have, obviously San Diego and Sonoma is the very next week. Those could be two massive weeks for him. Yeah, I do understand. I'm trying to think how that's said. But yeah, I do agree with you. 43 videos. I don't know how he's going to pull this off. I mean, he was fifth at one point. He's dropped down to 12th. But, if he can have two really good races, with San Diego and with Sonoma, it might boost him up a little bit. But now there's no more road courses in the playoffs. And I'm wondering if that's going to be his demise. I know the win in you're in is gone. I'm wondering, can he hold on long enough to get through the you know, first round of the chase? I'm curious how deep he'll actually go. I'm excited to see the chase back. I know we've had some pretty good, dramatics in the chase in the past. I'm kind of hoping it gets better. But I guess time will tell.
absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree anymore. Um, SVG, the longer he stays in this series, in this sport, he's going to be somebody to be reckoned with. The guy knows how to drive, so it's just getting used to those ovals, and he is getting there, and he will be a winner in the Cup Series. I
This
think
is what
soon.
his second full time season, I think.
Yeah, I think he will be soon, but I don't think it'll be this season.
So you think next year he'll get his first oval win?
It's a huge possibility. I think he will.
I think I can actually agree with that one because I
I'm
mean I
not.
don't think he'll do it this year, but I mean if he is great, but with the trajectory he's on, I could see him winning a race next year very easily. At least on an oval wise, a road course he could do that anytime. But I can agree with that one. But I don't want to forget about covering the dirt stuff. Oh,
Who
we
would
do
be
have
the
some more questions. Wait a minute. Oh, I
who
like
would
that.
be who would be the NASCAR champion if we didn't have stages to consider? Stage way I consider manufacturer.
Oh,
That is a good term for those. I never thought about putting it that way.
I don't know who
Uh,
that is, but I like that question a lot.
And honestly, I take that as an insult to NASCAR, and I like that. I like to insult
Oh,
NASCAR when I think that they are running their show in a crappy way, because they know damn well, and most of the fans want stages gone, but they don't care what the hell we want. They're just doing what they want to do.
I'm not sure how to pronounce that handle, but are you referring to like the Winston Cup standing wise, or like
Michigan,
early Michigan 43 videos? I didn't know how to pronounce it because I don't want to botch it really bad.
to me, it seems
Are
like
you
we're
referring to like Winston Cup like style points? Or are you talking like early, like 2004 and on chase, like 2004 to like 2013 points? I think it's 2013, maybe 2014. Before we got stages, is that what I know somewhere they have the Winston Cup champion, like Winston Cup style points the champions. I know that it said Jeff Gordon had like 5. I think it said Christopher Bell would have won the championship last year had they stayed with the old point standings. I don't know what it would have been with the Nextel Cup or Sprint Cup, but I remember I saw there's an Instagram post somewhere that did have all of that written down. And so I don't know if that's what you're referring to or not.
I'll put it this way: to me, if it was old school Winston Cup points, it would definitely be Tyler Reddick this year. I mean,
Oh
he's
yeah.
on. He's somebody is his ass is on fire, and I tell you what, he's on a roll. So there was never any doubt in my mind that that guy could drive a race car. It was just getting him to that point, getting past the issues in his life and everything that was going on, especially last year. So now that that's over with and past him, dude, this guy, dude, he's gonna be pretty hard to stop. So that's just my opinion.
I was okay, here's what it says right now from the Winston Cup standings standpoint. Tyler Reddick would be leading by almost almost 100 almost 100 points. It goes Tyler Reddick with 657 points. Denny Hamlin would have 560. Ryan Blaney would be third with 483 points. Chase Elliott would be fourth with 460. Ty Gibbs, which is shocking to me, would be fifth with 449. Kyle Larson, sixth with 409. Christopher Bell would be seventh with 399. Chris Buescher would be eighth with 339 points. Hocevar would be ninth with 383. And Daniel Suarez would round out the top 10 with 378.
No, I take that as a compliment to SVG, Tony.
Ace on. Yes, I've been saying that for a while. How they need how it would show the crew chief and driver combos. That's what I've been saying for a while. So I'm glad somebody else shares that same point. I'm making sure I'm reading that right. I mean, I've been saying that for a while, Mitch. I'm kind of surprised that NASCAR hasn't caught on that nobody likes these manufactured cautions. But I really think that if we ran if we had driver crew chief combos, I still think the Kyle Larson and not Alan Gustafson. I can't think of who his crew chief is right now.
Cliff Daniels.
Cliff Daniels. I really think that those two would be a lethal combo. I mean, with Chris Gabehart being with Spire now and not with Denny Hamlin, I think that combo's out of the question. I'm trying to think who are other iconic crew chief driver combos. Rudy Fugel's one that comes to mind, but I don't really consider that as good as the other ones.
How far back are you going? I mean, you had Jeff Gordon and
Oh, I
Ray
was
Evan
talking
Hanna.
current. I
Oh,
was
okay.
talking current. Alan Gustafson and Chase Elliott, I do feel like, Alan Gustafson has the, experience, and I do feel like Chase Elliott is a good, combo for that.
When he first came in, Brad Keselowski and Paul Wolf had a great relationship. They did
I
pretty
was going
good
to say
together.
that's that one.
Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers.
See, like current driver crew chief matchups, there is not a whole lot of good ones.
Not really
Like
anymore.
Tyler Reddick and his crew chief, I don't know if I qualify that. I mean, yes, he's won like 6 races so far, but I don't know if I really qualify those as, iconic duos to do it without the, state manufactured cautions. Like, I do feel like the Daniel Suarez call at Charlotte does have qualifications to be that because he made him make the call. But I don't really know.
No worries, buddy. He wasn't talking crap.
Like I really don't know. I would have to think about that one. You might have to join us for the next video for that one because I don't really know if I have an answer for who I think would be the greatest. Like I'm kind of impartial to Hendrick, but at the same time, I don't think that they would be the champion this year if it came down to just that combo. Like if we went back to before the stage points, I mean, I 100% agree with where you're going with that, and I really think that you
Wish we
should
would
be
go
able
back.
to. Yes, I would love for us to go back. I hate these stage cautions. If we're going to have a planned caution, why don't we have an intermission where we have a monster truck jump across the infield or something like.
Yeah.
This should be pre-race kind of crap. We don't need an intermission in the middle of this race. It's supposed to be an endurance test, not
This
take
we've
a
said it.
take a potty break mid race.
We've said it time and time again. Stage racing was not meant to be for NASCAR. That just
Yeah,
reminds me of the local dirt track racing, which I love dirt track racing, but that's why the reason I watched NASCAR is because I didn't want to watch dirt racing at the time. So this takes the strategy out of things. There is no field strategy hardly anymore. You get pretty much unlimited freaking tires. So I mean, there is nothing to it anymore. It is boring, and then you got to run. They run a quarter of the race under freaking caution with all the caution laps they run on these stupid stages.
I
We
think
don't
they
need
said
it.
they did 77 laps under caution. That's like
We don't.
almost a third of the race.
That's almost the whole stage.
Yeah,
I mean, if you think about
if I'm
it,
not mistaken, that's what it was.
why the hell do we want to slow the race down? And when it's meant to be, it's meant for speed in the first place. I mean, that's why people watch it is for speed. We don't watch it because we want to watch the cars roll around at fucking 60 mile an hour doing a pace lap. Because 60 mile an hour in NASCAR is pretty slow. No, to us it's pretty fast on the highway, but
I was
you know,
trying to look and see if I could find how many caution or how many laps they did under caution. I'm pretty sure it was 77.
and now that
I
now that
just
the Frances are pretty much not in charge of it anymore, I don't think it's going to get any better.
Yeah, it shows
So
we didn't have a red flag, but there was quite a bit of caution. I mean, lap 35 to 40 was a caution. And then they had 71 to 78, 79. So that's 10 laps right there. Got another 10 laps for whatever that was. I mean, we're running out of reasons to watch NASCAR. And that's what's frustrating is this used to be something fun, action-packed at all times. I mean, heck, during the Coke 600, drivers were getting out of the car and going to the bathroom. Granted, some of them were for rain delays, but if you've got enough time to get out of your car, get unbelted, run to the porta-john, and run back before we start racing again, that's a bit of a problem in my eyes. Like,
yeah, they
heck,
weren't.
SVG had time to eat a freaking burger. I mean, come
Yeah,
on, people.
they weren't shitting their pants like Tony Stewart did the one year.
Oh, what was it? I think it was Connor Daly said he finally went to the bathroom in his fire suit for the first time in ever, which is kind of funny to me because you don't ever hear about drivers doing that anymore because they don't have to. They're not in the car as long enough to need that. They have to get out at some point, which is just the longer the race, but yet you have nothing in your system. No wonder you don't have to go to the bath. You don't do it in the fire suit anymore. It's dumb to me.
As much as you
But yes,
sweat
like you
in that
said, Mitch,
car,
I do feel like if we didn't have the manufacturer cautions, we would not be having some of these conversations. Like with the races being boring, we wouldn't have that if we actually had cars that could break loose, or start to have tire wear where you really have to manhandle your car. And we don't have problems with the drivers not having power steering anymore. It's like a thing of the past. Darlington. I mean, there really is no more iconic moments in the sport. I mean, I think the latest one we had was Carson Macedo, and that might be the only iconic moment we have for another 25 years.
I'll tell you what,
We had
they
quite a few of them recently, but there's nothing iconic anymore about NASCAR.
and they make it too easy for just anybody to drive a fucking NASCAR. You don't even have to use the clutch anymore unless you're shifting from park or whatever, shifting from neutral into gear, whatever you want to call it. You don't even have to use the clutch to go from first to second to third to fourth to fifth. Like you just boom, 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 and then pull, 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 and go back down. That's you don't have to use a clutch. The next thing you know,
Yeah.
we're gonna have paddle shifters on the damn steering wheels.
Well, why don't we just? I think I sent you the video this week, Russ. The Gen 8 car. Why don't we just make it look like the freaking
Yeah,
Daytona
I saw that.
prototypes? I mean, it's essentially going to be the same sponsorship spacing. You got the, fueling going in the back of the car. You got a giant ass wing on the back. I mean, these prototypes are looking more and more like NASCARs every day. We got single lug wheels. We got, windshield wipers on these things, which I'm not down the windshield wipers. I think it's great that they can actually race in the rain. I mean, it's kind of funny to watch. I still think the Montreal race was the best one out of all of them with the Swiffer. That was still my favorite moment. But I can understand rain tires for road courses. I cannot understand rain tires for short tracks. Bristol, could not see them ever doing that. They're lucky they got it done at New Hampshire, and I still think that was the dumbest race I've ever seen. I mean, and that's after watching Bowman Gray this year. I thought Bowman Gray was going to be great in rain tires, and that was probably the weirdest, wackiest thing I've ever seen. That looks like something straight out of a video game where we're all just hail melon in the outside wall. I mean, about halfway through that race, NASCAR gave up, penalizing people for riding the wall. Just hang the right rear bumper out over the wall and just keep standing on it. Like, there were a lot of people who said I got a lot of flack for saying that I liked that race, and after thinking about it, it really wasn't that great. It was fun to watch them, bouncing off the boards like we're in go-karts. But at the same time, it did make a great racing product. It was just who could you bank it off of the best.
First one at Bowman Gray that we were actually at. That was a good one.
That was fun to watch. I think from the stands, I had fun watching it. I mean, I do feel like it was a little bit more exciting on TV, but then again, you had to put up with Fox, so it kind of evens itself out. But I don't know. I didn't want to sit in the rain, but I thought watching them bounce off the wall for an entire lap at Bowman Gray was kind of funny and fun to watch. But I'm glad I wasn't there in the rain. So I'm glad I went when I did.
Yeah,
I still think
talking
rain
about
tires
going.
on ovals are stupid. I think the rain tires on ovals is the dumbest thing I've heard of. If you're going to do it on a road course. At least it makes more sense then. Because, you're tiptoeing around the track as it is. I think running rain tires at New Hampshire is stupid. Even running them at Martinsville. You're just going to hydroplane right into the people in front of you. It's going to look like another Bowman Gray. Excuse me.
We don't have any. We're not sponsored
Yeah,
by.
that's true.
We're not sponsored by anybody, to be honest with you, right now. But so I don't really give a shit what I say,
Yeah.
and I'll say how I feel. And even if I did have sponsors, I'd still say how I feel. So if you're going to sponsor my show, you take us or leave us, because what you see is what you get.
But
So
you were saying, McKen, about being 30 minutes from Michigan. I'm like 4 hours from like every track on this. Well, not every track on this side of the country, but like Michigan's about 4 hours, maybe 4.5 from me. I think it's like 3.5 to you, Russ. So it's probably like 4.5. Um,
For enough, it takes
you
me
know,
3 hours to get to you.
so that sounds about right. So Michigan's like 4.5 hours. Pocono's like 4 hours. Watkins Glen's like 4 hours. I think Dover is more like 5 or 6. It's a little bit further. I mean, I can be in Charlotte in 8 hours. Like, it's nice to have them all on this side of the country, but at the same time, I could find way better things to do than sit down and like I move around during the NASCAR races. I go get souvenirs while I'm at the track. I collect those to say I've been at that track. So I can't tell you that I've actually sat through an entire NASCAR race. I mean, I've been up and down out of my seat watching the race, but there's at points during the race I will get up and walk away to go get food, or these stage cautions,
We
they just
we
drag it
didn't
out to the point where I have to do it in the middle of the race.
we didn't get
Like,
up
it
and
doesn't do any
leave
good.
at the Clash last year.
No, well, it was a little hard to do that because we were packed so tight in there.
Oh man, but nobody sat down for 200 laps. Like
I
nobody.
mean,
If
I
you
think
want
the
to,
only reason we sat down is because it was cold. It was really cold that night,
or
but
was
that
it?
was
It was a
it.
caution. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you couldn't sit down because you'd sit on
no,
top of somebody.
But if you wanted to watch the race, you weren't gonna sit down. You couldn't watch it sitting down. You had to stand up.
Yeah, you
Everybody
couldn't
was
see over
standing.
top people. We were what? I think we were four. You guys were like 5 rows back, and we were right in front of you at 4 rows. You couldn't see over the people in front of you because there was that many people standing looking over the wall watching. It was great.
That's Ken. That's spot on, Ken. A lot of tracks have actually done that, or they cover them up with a big ass stupid banner.
That's what Bristol
They
does.
they're eliminating seats because of the simple fact that they can't sell them out anymore. So they eliminate it to make it look good for TV and to people that are outside of the sport. But all of us inside the sport that have been watching it for years, we know better. And
Yeah,
look at the here's the other thing. We we have local dirt tracks that are adding seats. Now you tell me
Mhm.
what the hell's going on because I mean dirt track is growing. Whether it be late models, sprint cars, modifieds, I mean whatever. But dirt track in general is growing because people are tired of NASCAR's bullshit.
I can
Plain and simple.
attest to just being in the stands and being as a crew member that Pocono is one of the worst. I think about it is they blocked off an entire section, like the entire way down the front stretch. They have like the lower section, the upper section, and then there's like the boxes. And they put everybody in the second deck because they just don't sell tickets for that front row. So they put all the driver banners across the front of the stands. I remember going to my very first NASCAR race, sitting in the very front row at Pocono. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever because you could watch the cars come down the front stretch, go off into turn one, and you could see them all the way from turn one to almost turn two. And you'd lose them as they went around turn two from turn two to turn three. And then when we went back as I went back as a crew member, and I remember buying my dad tickets, and you could watch the cars come off turn two, come down to turn three, and go down the front stretch, and you could partially see them going between the trailers and the campers from turn one to turn two. The last time I was there was what 2024, and they took the entire front row where we had sat every time, and they moved everybody back a row and can't squished us all in like sardines to put these giant canvas banners across the entire section. And yet somebody still hit Denny Hamlin's car with a beer from that far back, which is quite impressive. I still laugh about that.
Funny to see someone throwing a beer at him.
Oh, they hit him. They hit him at Martinsville, which they're right up against the fence. So I guess it doesn't really surprise me. But the fact that somebody hit his car with a beer post race after he took out Kyle Larson, the fact they hit him from the second section was pretty impressive because you got to clear what 25-foot banner from the track plus the walkway and then the catch fence, and it bounced right off the roof of his car in post race, which was I mean, that's a pretty damn good aim, if you ask me. I mean, it went doosh, and you could see it in the post-race interview. You could watch the video still, and you'll see it ricochet off the roof. Yeah, the amount of booze he got that race made it warranted, and I kind of wish it would have hit him. Either that or the zucchini or whatever it was in the giant rubber glove.
For the time there was a big Tropicana blow up rolling across the track. Tropicana
Yeah,
orange. But okay, it's been an hour of NASCAR, so I think I'm gonna get my
I know.
dirt
I'm
stuff out of the
sorry.
way.
I got distracted.
So okay, the World of Outlaws. Um, they ran their ran at River Cities at the Don Mac Classic. Um, what was it? Friday, May 9th, May 29th? Yeah, just last Friday. Carson Macedo uh, made a late race crossover. The Bullring Banger at River Cities delivered a classic short track battle. Rookie right here in Ohio, rookie Casey Jeterzek actually led the field from the pole and paced the opening 40 or yeah 40 paced the opening 14 laps before championship leader David Gravel assumed the lead on lap 15. So hey, that was a great job to Casey. First year in the Outlaws, and I think he did get a podium out of that too. But Carson Macedo and his number 41 started ninth and began picking off cars. He reeled in Gravel's number two, setting up a dramatic final segment. With 4 laps remaining, Macedo used a huge run from the bottom of the front stretch to dive under Gravel for the lead, but Gravel answered immediately on the next lap, throwing a massive slide job in turns three and four. However, Macedo anticipated the move, executed a perfect crossover maneuver to slip back underneath Gravel, and actually engined his way to secure his 61st career victory. Gravel finished second to notch his 14th podium in 2026, and it keeps his point lead at 114 over Carson Macedo. Jeterzek finished third for his first career outlaw podium. Chris Windham and Sheldon Howenshield actually round out the top five. On Sunday, the scheduled, I don't remember how to say that, Godot Metals Recycling Magic City Showdown at Nordic Speedway was postponed to August 30th due to some pretty saturated grounds from heavy rain. So, unfortunate. I would have loved to have seen that, but I have to wait till August. The PA Posse. A little bit of news out of the PA Posse series. I don't usually follow this, but um, it's a regional series of regional stars that are defending their actual home turf of Williams Grove and Lincoln. So Friday at Williams Grove, um, what was it? The York County Racing Club night. It was an $8,000 to win Joey Allen tribute race. Lance DeWeese drew the pole for the 25-lap main event, jumped out to an early lead over Brock Zierfoss, navigated through heavy traffic, but Zierfoss and Chase Dietz closed in, and Dietz riding the top up on the cushion, passed Zierfoss for second with 3 laps to go, and a yellow flag with 2 laps remaining for a crash involving Zierfoss and Brent Shearer, cleared the track for DeWeese, who actually executed a flawless restart to win his 118th career Grove 410 victory by 1.5 seconds over Chase Dietz and Danny Dietrich, who finished third. In the past 305 sprint car undercard, Cole DeWeese led all 20 laps from the pole, building a 3.3-second lead to capture his first career Williams Grove victory and complete a historic father-son sweep. And moving over to Lincoln on Saturday, well, Lincoln actually hosted the Silent Salute Foundation Fallen First Responders race, which was 6,000 to win. Logan Rumsey and Freddie Raymer set the front row, with Rumsey taking the lead off of turn two, and a red flag on lap 14 for an incident involving Justin Woodall and Aaron Bollinger bunched the field back up, but Rumsey maintained the lead on the restart. With 7 laps remaining, points leader Chase Dietz moved past Raymer for second in the Stamen Motorsports number 23D, and on lap 33, Rumsey jumped the turn four cushion and slowed on the backstretch, which allowed Chase Dietz to surge into the lead. Dietz controlled the final green-white checkered sprint to secure his fifth Lincoln victory of 2026. Raymer finished second. Australian Ryan Newton completed the podium in third. So, um, another quick update outside of that, um, Danny Dietrich has uncommitted from the PA Posse 410 series.
Oh my.
Um, Imagine that. But I don't blame Dietrich. I'll get into it here. Uh, Dietrich and Gary Kaufman Racing, things are going to be looking a little different for them um, from here on out. They've actually made the decision to stop committing full time to the PA Posse 410 Sprint Series and are going to start taking things week to week. Honestly, a lot of this goes back to what happened on Saturday at Lincoln, where Dietrich was actually running in mid pack. He slowed up on lap two and went to the outside of the track into the work area. The team got the car fixed, and he was ready to go back out, just waiting to be pushed out, just like a normal deal. And then out of nowhere, they're told the work area is closed and he's disqualified. Well, then why the hell did they let him come in the first place? I mean, you can't let him fix his car and then tell him the work area is closed. That's not right. So I'm kind of on Danny's side with this. I mean, you gotta be. You can't let a guy. It's like NASCAR, waving the pit road closed flag, but allowing people to pit anyway, and then tell them, "Oh, you're disqualified," without giving them some kind of warning over the radio. It's stupid. So Dietrich basically said that this was completely avoidable, and the bigger problem is the lack of consistency and communication. Right now, each track is kind of handling things their own way, and there isn't a true series level officiating crew making consistent calls across the board. He said the series needs real structure, like an actual series director who works for the series, not the track, so there's accountability, especially with that kind of money on the line. So from here, their mindset is simple: race what makes sense. Some weeks they'll go, some weeks they won't. If they want to stay home, they stay home. If they want to travel, they'll travel. Now, even with the mess at Lincoln, the Friday weekend wasn't all bad. Um, on on Friday at Williams Grove, Dietrich went from sixth to third, which was another podium for him, and that was his 12th top five of the season. So on the year, he's already got two wins, one at Port Royal and one at Lincoln. So it wasn't so bad of a weekend, but it was a bullshit call. I agree with Danny on that. And Danny, like I commented on your page, come to Ohio and race, bud. You can stay at my place. I got plenty of room. We got place to park your hauler. You can work on your car.
There's a whole street he could park on. He could fire up the car on your street.
You know, come on over, buddy. And I am literally right between Attica and Fremont. You could race both tracks for the weekend. So just let me know, bud. Come on over. Moving over to high limit. Um, where'd they go? Oh, Lawrenceburg. Uh, racing contested three high profile events. High limit racing contested three high profile events that turned the national championship standings upside down. First, at Lawrenceburg, Abreu wins and Reitzel flips. Now that's insane. But
I saw this highlight.
Friday, the series held the Driven to Save Lives battle at the Berg at Lawrenceburg Speedway. Rico Abreu started second, slid past the pole sitter Aaron Reitzel, and led all 30 laps to win the race. Kyle Larson was the show behind them, though. Uh, he had to go to the tail twice, once for a flat tire on lap 10, and he spun out on lap 11. And or spun out, not lap 11, lap 21. But in the with having to go to the tail twice, Larson literally charged back up to finish second, dude. Give him another three
Damn,
laps. Give him another 3 laps, and he may have won that race. I mean,
that's
that's
crazy.
insane. The race changed drastically though on lap 21 when Thorson attempted a slider on Reitzel for second and clipped Reitzel's left rear, sending Reitzel flipping upside down coming out of turn 4 and ended the night for him. So man, and that sucked for Aaron because he had a chance to he had won 3 high limit races in a row. Before that, he could have made series history by winning 4 that night, and he had won like 6 out of 7 or 5 out of 7 races up to that point that he had entered. A couple of them being World of Outlaws shows, but man, I'll tell you, and Reitzel was pissed. He
As he
had
should be.
every right to be. Tanner Thorson, I like you. I I am not trying to take any talent away from you, but and you did admit it on an apology on social media, so I give you credit for that. But you got to admit that was a pretty dumbass move. Like
Uh,
he said, I lost sight of him. Well, dude, you shouldn't have been pushing that hard if you couldn't see him. You know better
he
than
didn't
that.
even hit the front wheels. He hit right about where the exhaust manifold was. He didn't even get. We hit literally between the front wheels and the back wheels.
So
He wasn't even close to clearing them.
yes, it may be true that you lost sight of him, but that's when you stop pushing because you don't know where he's at, and you could end up crashing you both, which you did, and possibly hurting one or both of you, which luckily you didn't. But
It was
that
a
was a,
vicious crash.
I'm going to tell you what, in my opinion, that was a Brady Bacon move, and I cannot stand Brady Bacon, and I don't give a shit if Brady sees this and doesn't like me back. I really could care less. He was an idiot at Attica for the way he tried pulling a slider all the way from the bottom of the track into the side of Caleb Henry last year, sending Caleb Henry by life flight to the freaking hospital. And I'll tell you what, I do not respect drivers that don't use their damn head when they drive. And I don't know where the hell you get the name Macho Man, but I think somebody was making fun of you when they called you that because I don't see a whole lot macho about you. But anyway, moving on. uh, that DNF though for Reitzel actually gave Rico the points lead. Um, I think I gave it to him by 33 points. But Saturday they move over to Butler, and Reitzel bounced back in spectacular fashion to win the Mace Thomas Classic at Butler Motor Speedway. Tanner Thorson led the opening 17 laps from the pole, but he had to pull off for mechanical failure, which ended his entire race. So karma is a bitch. It bit you in the ass, and I was glad to see Reitzel not retaliate in any kind of way. He voiced his opinion plenty after he got crashed on Friday. Okay, no harm, no foul, man, because I would be pissed too. He had every right to be pissed, and he had every right to tell Thorson what he thought of him. And I'm surprised nobody got in any fights, but good job to them for being professional about it, and much respect for that. But Reitzel actually assumed the lead after that mechanical failure and sliced through traffic to beat Brent Marks by just 3/4 of a second. And that actually gave him what, a $20,000 purse and reclaimed the championship lead. And Tyler Courtney actually finished third to round out the podium. Now, Monday, they went to Davenport Speedway, and that was the Iowa Lottery Duel at Davenport. Reitzel actually set quick time with 11.485 seconds and won the dash to start on the pole. Kyle Larson split Brady Bacon and Brett Marks on lap 1, which slotted him into second position. And on lap 7, Larson used a slide job crossover to against Reitzel to actually take the lead. Larson drove away with a 3.2-second lead, and that was over Brett Marks. But in victory lane, Larson performed Bush's signature bow and actually announced he was donating his winnings and the angel donor money to Samantha Bush's Bundle of Joy Fund for IVF treatments. Great job, Kyle. Much respect to you for that. High Limit action returns to action tonight, or returned to action tonight, because I'm sure it's over now. And that was at Red Cedar Raceway. I'll have an update on that some other day, obviously, because I didn't get a chance to watch it tonight. I had a lot of other stuff going on. But the strategic outlook, I mean, the strategic theme of the week centers on track position management under high bank pressure. And at Nashville, the lateral G-force on the concrete ovals can create immense side force, which requires chassis setup to maximize right side tire compliance without overloading the suspension, a factor that both Denny Hamlin and Layne Riggs mastered by finding late run grip off the corners. In the dirt tracks, Buddy Kofoid and Carson Macedo showcased that clean and early cushion adaptation are paramount on technical racy surfaces. As the summer ovals slick off, the teams must find the proper balance in shock bleed rates to prevent their cars from upsetting on the cushion while preserving rear bite. So, um, I mean, the events this past week have provided pretty invaluable data for racing analysis. I mean, one, restart side drafting. Allgaier's Nashville victory proved that manipulating the pocket of air between cars on restarts remains the ultimate tool for defending track position against high horsepower engines. And two, cushion deficits. Well, Rumsey's late heartbreak at Lincoln demonstrated that running against a treacherous cushion can actually destroy mechanical suspension components in a fraction of a second if the car bicycles on entry. And three, well, tire heat siping. At Davenport, Kyle Larson's ability to run a straight line against a ledge cushion was assisted by aggressive tire siping, which allowed his right rear tire to maintain structural compliance on the dry slick track. 4. Caution negotiations. While Rico Abreu's Lawrenceburg win and Reitzel's Butler bounce back show that championship momentum is highly volatile, where a single contact incident can alter points leads in an instant and dramatic fashion. So, I mean, just my kind of technical takeaways. But you had anything else, Nathan, before I shut her down?
Not really. I think we had a pretty good episode this week. Wait a lot longer than we normally do.
Oh, and just like I said earlier, if you would all like to see Jason Schweitzer uh, come on board with us as an F1 IndyCar host, consultant, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to have him on as long as he's comfortable with it and you all want to see him. So let us know how you feel in the comments below about anything you've seen in our episode tonight. And if you'd like to see Jason in action, go back to last week's episode where he did a full hour episode along with me. And Nathan took the night off and left us hanging.
Sorry.
No, you had some stuff going on. I get it. But hey, I'm good to go if you are.
I'm good to go. Don't
All right. Well,
forget to follow, and subscribe if you enjoy our content. And if you want to join our episode someday, please make sure you DM our Facebook page or let us know in the comments so we can get a hold of you.
so the racing world now turns its focus to places like Pocono and the high banked clay of Red Cedar, Hartford, and Plymouth. The championship
Don't
favorites
forget
remain.
Michigan.
The
Can't
championship
forget
favorites
Michigan.
remain. The championship favorites remain those who can adapt their mechanical baselines faster than the track surface shifts. The last 7 days have served as a master class in the sheer unpredictability of this sport. Whether it is the structural integrity of a brake rotor on the Nashville concrete or the treacherous cushion at Lincoln Speedway on the dirt, we've seen that a thin line between a career defining win and a trip to the hauler is thinner than ever. We saw veterans like Justin Allgaier and Denny Hamlin flex their experience, proving that racecraft, the ability to manipulate the air, the tires, and the rhythm of the start, remains the ultimate equalizer. Conversely, rising stars like Layne Riggs and Brent Cruz showed that the future of this series is not just knocking on the door, they are kicking it down with aggressive, calculated brilliance. As we look ahead, the data from this week confirms one thing: momentum is a fleeting commodity. The championship standings across all these series have been re-indexed by this stretch of grueling, high-pressure events. From the heavy-hitting schedule of the High Limit Racing Tour to the grassroots dominance of the PA Posse, every lap turned this week has been a building block for the month of money. The machines are being rebuilt, the telemetry is being poured over, and the drivers are already looking for the next edge. That is the rhythm of our sport, the constant, relentless cycle of analysis and execution. For the crew here at Switchin Grooves, the mission remains unchanged. We are going to keep tearing apart the stats and chasing the stories that matter most. But until then, remember, we bring you race recaps, breakdowns, and all those insane adrenaline packed moments every week. Whether you live for those dirt track mudslinging, sideways dirt track sliders, or the door banging, paint trading action of NASCAR, you belong here. Hit that subscribe button now so you never miss a finish. And until next time, keep switching grooves. I'm Russ Fritz,
And I'm Nathan Johns.
so we're saying race hard,
Stay safe.
and we'll see you there. Good night.
Good night, everybody.